Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to KSR's rapid reaction of Kentucky's 96-53 win over Wright State. Now, obviously, normally I'm outside for these. I think I'm supposed to be outside for these. It's kind of weird. Not totally sure. But, look, I didn't bring a jacket today. Now, normally you'd think Phoenix, and honestly, I don't blame you. Phoenix, you're an idiot. Why are you not wearing a jacket? It's like 30 outside. Well, look, guys, I just wanted to show off this Christmas t-shirt. The bottom, it says Squad Goals. Of course, this is from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie. You got the Abominable Snow Monster, Santa, Yukon, Cornelius. You got all the good stuff. But the real good stuff that I'm here to talk about, Kentucky's 96-53 win over Wright State. Defense started a little slow again. We got to the first media timeout, and it was 13-11 Kentucky. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is going on? Like, why can we not seem to get these issues figured out? Like, it seems like I felt like game to game, you could almost just really just count on Kentucky, like, having these weird slow starts. And as I try to get my microphone settled in, um, it was just like, what are we doing defensively? But Kentucky would proceed to end the first quarter on a 22 run. And then in the second quarter, they go on a 22-0 run to end the quarter. So to end the first two quarters of play, like through the first half, the last like 4 or 5 minutes of each quarter, you went on two combined 42-2 runs. If you're Kentucky, like that's just a mind-blowing number. Again, credit to Kentucky for talked to Kenny post game, and big thing he noted was that our mental focus just was not there. Right, I'm wearing the shirt. It's Christmas time. Uh, he even asked the players in the pressers, like I think he already knew, but he was like, "What time is your flight? What time is your flight?" Like the players are going back home with their families and everything, and you could, I think you could just kind of tell, like they were not here tonight. Like for most of the game, they were back home, right? So Kenny had to get them right mentally, and then you saw the 20-2 run and the 22-0 run. And then they proceeded to go on a few runs to end the game. But 96-53, you end up doing kind of what you're supposed to do against a team like Wright State. The big news from tonight was that Tiani Key did not play. I remember being at practice a little bit during the summer, a little bit later in the summer, and Tiani, I don't remember if it was a brace or a wrap, may have been a wrap, around her calf, just around her leg. And I just remember thinking to myself, that's odd. That doesn't feel precautionary. But when I asked, kind of officially, unofficially to some people, everyone was like, yeah, it's precautionary. Like there's a little thing going on, but it's not really a big deal. And then we get to this point in the season. We are now it's our 13th game in, and because Kentucky's 12-1 on the year now, and you head into tonight, and about 30 minutes from tip or so, we get the news, hey, Tiani's out because of this lingering injury that she's had from the fall. She's listed as day-to-day. I didn't make it to the Belmont game, but I spoke to a fellow media member who was at that game, and he was like, yeah, I think I remember seeing her like favor that leg. And I don't know if he was talking about the Belmont game when he made this point, but he did also mention, like, I think I seen her with an ice pack around her calf too. So I think Tiani's just got, we saw she grew an inch this summer. Maybe she's having some literal growing pains, but it doesn't sound like it'll be long term. The players were all talking, like in the press conference, Kenny and the players were all talking about, yeah, we're looking forward to getting her back. It's just a matter of, I think you're literally just trying to take that. I know day to day is like, me and you wake up out of bed. We're day to day, right? But I think with her injury, it really is a matter of, and maybe it's not even an injury as much as it is like, okay, she's just got this nagging pain in her leg or something. And, you know, you sit and look at, who you're playing, right? You're playing Wright State. Okay, maybe we don't run her out today. Maybe we don't risk the injury. Maybe we don't go and do that, right? But um, you know, against an LSU, well, okay, maybe you do run her out there. But I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't play against Hofstra. Now, actually, I don't know. I say that, but there's also a 9-day break in between games, so almost worry, if Kentucky has this extended break and she's still not back playing. Okay, that worries me a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out a little flat against Hofstra just because they're getting back from Christmas. But regardless, I thought Kentucky, for the most part, played pretty well tonight. And I want to start this night talking about Kaylin Carroll, who, you know, with Tiani out, I thought really stepped up. Kenny kind of talked about post game. He's challenged her to be better. And it wasn't tonight specifically with Tiani being out. It was, I believe, it dated back to the games in Puerto Rico, Maryland, and Morgan State, where he was like, "Okay, I want you to play. I want you to step up. I want you to be better." And against Morgan State, she had 15 points, and then tonight she has 18 on 6 of 11 shooting from deep, 5 rebounds, 2 steals to her name as well. I'm just going to hold this mic. It keeps twisting around. I'm sure it sounds miserable on your all's end, so I apologize. And maybe it doesn't sound like anything. I don't know. But, you sit and look at that stat sheet and you think, oh, she played really well, and she did. 25 minutes for her, against a team like Wright State, I think you can probably expect her to play that way, maybe expect her to play really well. But at the end of the day, I'm still really happy about it. I think Kenny was happy about it. KK was obviously happy about it playing out here. I mean, it was literally like right over here, she was splashing threes. Again, 6 of 11 from the 3-point line. You'll definitely take that. I know we've talked about some slow starts for Clara Strack lately, but that was not necessarily the case against Wright State. 26 points, 9 of 18 shooting from the field, 7 rebounds, and 4 blocks from Clara Strack. She had one right in front of me over here, and I believe I reposted it on social media. She looked like Eva Hudson out there. She looked like Brooklyn DeLay, Lizzie Carr. I mean, shot clock winding down. The girl's going to shoot it. Poor girl, Clara Strack is right there, and spikes the ball, blocks it. She had 4 blocks on the night. Really good stuff from her. Toni Morgan had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So how about that for Toni Morgan filling up the stat sheet? And again, Asia Boone started. I probably should have said this. The starting lineup with Tiani Key out, which I kind of expected it to be, was Toni Morgan at the 1, Asia Boone at the 2, and then you slide Jordan Obi at the 3 and Amelia Hassett down to the 4 with Clara Strack at the usual playing at the 5. So, just considering how she had been the 6th man, I thought, okay, I think they're going to, instead of just plugging KK in at the 4 or sliding her down or sliding Amelia down to the 4 and plugging KK at the 3, the freshman, I think they're more likely to go with, the more experienced player at the 2 that's been the 6th man. So that made sense. Asia Boone played pretty well, I thought, as well. She started the game off by airballing a 3 right in front of me, and I look over at Larry Vaught right here next to me. I'm actually sitting in the seat Larry was in, and I was like, Larry, like, you all are me, I'm Larry Vaught. And I looked at Larry, and I was like, Larry, she ain't gonna have a good night, is she? Just kind of looking at him like, man, airballing your first shot's not a good omen, but she shut me up pretty quick. 17 points, 5 of 11 from 3-point range, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. Kentucky had 20 assists on the night, which you look at and you think that's a pretty good number for the most part. And considering it was 20 assists on 33 makes, I think you'll definitely take that. Kentucky shot 15 of 39 from 3-point range. So I thought, they had some bad misses, right? We talked about Asia Boone missing bad. I remember Josie Gilvin shot like the side of the backboard right behind me. But speaking of Josie, I thought she played pretty well too. She didn't, have like a monster game, but 14 minutes, a little bit of extended run, 7 points on the night. I thought, again, doesn't really shock me, but Josie Gilvin making the hustle plays, doing what you're asking of her. You love to see that. Lexi Blue was the 6th man. She didn't really have a great game. At least offensively. 21 minutes of play. She was the first sub in once, the game got going, she came in for Asia Boone, just 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting from the field. She didn't have her best night. But as a team, again, I thought everybody played pretty well. Gabby Brooks got 10 minutes of play. That's how you know it was a fun night, right? When Gabby Brooks gets 10 minutes, when she gets a quarter's worth of PT, that's how you know it's a fun night. But Kentucky beats Wright State 96-53. Cats are 12-1 on the year. Everyone, the players, Kenny was pretty clear about it, where he was like, "Look, I think these gals are just looking forward to Christmas, right? They want to get back home, spend this time with their families and whatnot." Kentucky comes back to Memorial Coliseum, historic Memorial Coliseum, December 28th at 2 p.m. against Hofstra. I don't know a whole lot about Hofstra, but they got another thing coming, I guess. So that'll be fun to watch, hopefully. Shout out to Riddle, by the way. I don't remember her first name. Last name is Riddle. Number 15 for Wright State. 5 fouls in 9 minutes. It's the stat sheet that I would put up if I went out there. Kentucky wins 96-53 here in historic Memorial Coliseum. Again, it was a fun night, right? The crowd was pretty decent considering like half of the fan base is in Kansas City right now. I'm looking at the new banner, Volleyball 2025. It's nice to see SEC champions, but also see SEC tournament champions right there on that banner. So that's really cool. I'm Phoenix Stevens here on the KSR YouTube channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those wonderful things for us. I maybe I don't know, unless I get yelled at, I may just start doing these rapid reactions in here because, believe it or not, guys, it's not cold in here. I mean, it's a little chilly, right? Especially with this T-shirt on. These fans, it's the brand name. These big ass fans right above me, right? It is a little chilly, but it ain't freezing. So maybe I'll do these in here more often. I don't know. Maybe I'll get yelled at, and this will be the last one I do in here. But regardless, again, like I said, 96-53. I'm Phoenix Stevens. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all those wonderful things. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Kentucky 12-1 on the year. Feels so good to say that. Looking forward to 13-1 and hopefully 14-1 come January 1st. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much. Go Cats.